think I got it, Pipe Pals. Probably just another flame to help me out. I wanted to pause this video, but I ended up creating another video, but all that thought. Got it going, by God. Okay, this is the Gentleman Scholar. Just wanted to say hello. I didn't really have a real subject to talk about when I came down here, but as I came down here, stuff started hitting my mind. So I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about accents and dialects. Okay, so one of the things I love about the YTPC, and there are many things I love about the YTPC, is you get to hear from pipe smokers all over the world. Different accents, different cultures, everything else. I have a fondness, softness in my heart for Scotland, and we have precious few Scottish pipe smokers in the YTPC. Kev Granite City Piper notwithstanding, I think he might be the only one. Sherlock Piper used to be another once upon a time. So I started to listen to Ralphie stuff. He of the vast knowledge about Scotch whiskey. So I listened to him because he's a Scotsman, and I like the Scottish burr. And of course, I get to learn about whiskeys. There's a kind of a whiskey overlap with pipe smoking. So I listened to him for a bit. Then all of a sudden, the wonderful YTPC, and I mean that sincerely, the wonderful YTPC algorithms started giving me other whiskey presenters. One of them was Gav's Drams. Gav, I'm speaking in his accent, Gav's Drams. The other one was the Whiskey Friend. Both of them Scottish from, I want to, guessing by how my ear judged it, from deepest, darkest Glasgow, especially Gav. His accent's very broad. And I just put that on in the back because I just love the cadence and the flow of a really broad Scottish accent. As you well know, I probably told you in past videos, I used to go to Scotland all the time. Love the people, salt of the earth people, call a spade, great sense of humor. They didn't suffer fools gladly, thank God. So what the hell were they doing talking to me? Anyway. I also want to dedicate this to Thomas Kallheim. He's the one who inspired me to get a meerschaum like this. He has one pretty much similar to it. He's from Sweden. Really friendly, happy, jovial guy. Go check him out. Thomas Kallheim. Smoke the pipes. That's what they're made for. That's his sign off. Anyway. Both Gav's Drams and Whiskey Friend, they like to chat about their whiskeys, talk about the different levels of flavor and everything like that. I get to hear all the cool Scottish idioms, how they like how they'll merge words together and everything like that. St. Dave's Pipe should appreciate that kind of thing, as he likes to study the Welsh dialect and Welsh accents. And by the way, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter where we're coming from. If you know a language, let's face it, there's similarities between Scottish and English, American English, Australian English, but still, depending on where you live in the world, your language is your culture. You're raised with the language. You use regional sayings, and I really, really dig that. That really shows where a person comes from. Reflects their cultural background. Beg your pardon? So, that's why I'm very fond of, say, for example, listening to a Truckin' Piper Bob. He's a born and bred Yorkshireman, which I really, really appreciate. And a lot of the regional sayings come out in his speech, which I really enjoy. Same with Piper X1X, or is it XIX? Piper 19. He's also from the Yorkshire Dales, and he sounds it, he embodies it, and his idioms and everything reflect that. And that's why I really enjoy listening to him. And while we're at it, coming on this side of the pond, excuse me, old man things. Hold on. Sip. I guess it depends on the tobacco, but sipping is better than puffing, chuffing, chooching, whatever you want to call it. So Mike, old man things. He's a pure Wisconsinite, and I love him for it. His voice, as you probably noticed, has I don't want to call it a twang, but has Wisconsin Midwest inflections in them, and I really, really enjoy that. And I'm a big fan of folks from the Midwest of the United States anyway, in general, because they're, again, more salt of the earth, more humble, I have to say, relatively compared to people from the coasts, less drama, more, I don't know, farm stock, salt of the earth, black coffee types. I don't know. I just appreciate that more than the histrionics of either coast. Excuse me. And while we're on the subject, St. Dave's himself has a pronounced Pittsburghian accent. My roommate used to have actually, my roommate came from Philadelphia. That's a different thing, but not that much. If you hear, I mean, like I said, there's a certain inflections to how they say their O's that, okay, they're probably from further down in the Northeast, like Pittsburgh. But yeah, I can hear it in David's accent from time to time. I can also hear it in Armchair Ed from time to time. No, I just dig that. It adds something. It adds a layer of something to the video. Same with Pat PGMP Piper. He's practicing he's being very gracious practicing his English so we can all understand his videos. His original language is Flemish, and which is similar. If I get this wrong, Pat, please forgive me. It shares similarities to Dutch, and when he speaks in English, I can hear what to my ear sound to be like Dutch inflections, but they're Flemish inflections. I used to go to Amsterdam all the time, and everyone there, 99% of the people there speak English, so you get to hear what that sounds like in English. And the thing I like about that is certain expressions, Stephen Green, scam was all clear. Hey, if you have a chance, go over to Stephen Green and wish him congratulations. He was worried about his dog. Got a scan. He was worried about his dog. His dog is got the clean bill of health. So go over and say, hey, he's not that much on YouTube anymore, but he's still a very good friend, and I know he was stressed out. So go on over to say hello, say glad about your dog, if you feel like it, if you have time. And there's another guy with a great accent, a pure Londoner accent you'll never ever hear. Like working class, just not plummy, nothing wrong with plummy, but not plummy, not public school accent, but working class Londoner. That's what I'm blathering. Please excuse me. But hey, that's what I do best. And speaking of British accents, English accents, another one I really enjoy is Three Rivers Piper. He's from the north, so he has those northern inflections in his voice, which I really appreciate. Same with Sir John Piper, Dale Piper. Dale Piper has a nice northern accent, but he has a cultivated accent. He probably learned in school. If I'm getting this wrong, John, please forgive me. He has a cultivated accent. He learned this, but every now and again, the northern stuff comes out underneath the accent, which I really dig. I don't know. I guess I really appreciate that kind of thing. I like to figure out where people come from based on their accents, and I used to do that quite a bit on the plane. When I used to fly to London, I used to pick out Dorset accents. And are you from Dorset by any chance? And of course, Lord of the Rings has accents from all over the UK there. But see, Samwise comes from Dorset because he's kind of a gardener, and that area of the UK is associated with rural stuff, farming. Pippin is Scottish. Merry, I couldn't really pick out, to be quite honest. And of course, Frodo is, I don't want to say generic English, but received pronunciation English for the most part. And by the way, in saying this, I don't mean to step on anybody's toes if I'm getting anyone's accents wrong. I'm not trying to misrepresent. I just really love this stuff, and I'm approaching this stuff from an outsider's point of view. And in talking about Pat from PGMP and his Flemish inflected English, when I used to work on the Amsterdam flights, you get to hear these expressions from the Dutch, but you could tell they were translating them, giving you direct translations from their own language. For example, so meneer, something to drink? Wat wel te drinken? Iets te drinken? And they were nice enough to say in English for me. For me, I will have another beer also, which I guess is how they would ask it directly in Dutch, which I appreciated. I dug that. Alstublieft, I think that means if you have it. Anyway, this is the one thing my job has given me, these really different appreciations for different accents and different idioms coming from different parts of the world. Even up in Quebec, where my dad comes from, there's this area called Les Beaux, which I want to say it's about 30, 40 miles away from. They have their own idioms that someone from Lac Mégantic couldn't pick out. So, but anyway, I've blathered enough. I've got to go upstairs and try to put a spare room in order because it looks like a bookstore / comic store exploded. I got to put just to make it look presentable. You could sit there and read a book. It doesn't look like a hoarding station.